All right, traders, it is the 14th of November, 2017. My name is Jameson. Welcome to Behringer Trading. Let's take a look at the relative rotational graph here and see how the sectors are doing. First thing I see is that the energy sector here has transitioned from improving to actually leading despite today's pullback. We still have our outperformers here as far as technology sector, financial materials, and the industrials. I do note that it looks like discretionary here, XLY, although it's underperforming, we're seeing an improvement here in momentum. It's interesting. Let's take a look closer at it. So let's look at a daily chart here of XLE. And a real quick daily chart shows us, well, we have a breakout. We have a breakout here on the RSI. We have new highs on expanding volume. The chalk and money flow is still bullish, but we have a little bit lower low. MACD's turning up. If we look at the relative performance relative to the S&P, we're actually seeing a breakout there. So although we're not seeing the relative strength yet in the actual sector, aside from momentum, on the daily time frame, we're seeing a breakout here at relative performance-wise. The relative rotational graph here, linear display, is showing that we're starting to see an improvement in the relative strength, and momentum's still a little bit flat. Let's take a look at the weekly chart. All right, so if we take a look at the weekly chart, we can see that the RSI is actually rising. And this is important too because the daily was just breaking out. Like, we never want to just buy into resistance, but we can see if we draw a bullish channel, or if we draw or identify support and resistance, we have our lower trend line here, the demand line, and our upper trend line, which is resistance. So it looks like the sector on a weekly time frame still has some overhead space to trade before it trades into resistance. Volume contracting a little bit. We have some narrow price spreads. Looks like we're still seeing if we can find some participants. The chocolate money flow looks like it's ahead of the game here. So this little pullback didn't quite have as much supply as the last one. So it looks like supply is contracting, and it looks like it's in strong hands. Otherwise, the positive measurement here is expanding. Looks good. The MACD, we're starting to see some increase in momentum. Relative performance-wise, we can recognize that it has been an underperformer, but we're testing the angle of decline there. We're starting to see signs, some emergence of relative strength. We can see here in the linear perspective that we're seeing an improvement in the momentum here, some positive momentum, but we're still looking for some participation. If we go here to the sector performance, so this is just stock charts. If you can go to the members page or the free charts, but if you go here to specifically, I think we're in sector summary. Yeah, sector summary. So we're talking about the discretionaries, XLY. Let's take a look here. So let's just hit the relative rotational graph for the actual sector, and we can get an idea of who's outperforming, who's not. So we can see here at the very beginning, the home construction's the leadership here. Otherwise auto parts. So let's take a look here and see if we can drill down here in the home construction. So we'll go back, and instead of hitting the relative rotational graph, let's actually click on the sector itself. So let's make sure XLY, we're on the right one. And home improvements, home construction. So now let's go to home construction, and we're doing so because on the relative rotational graph it showed that they're underperforming, but it's showing improving momentum. If they're going to transition from lagging to improving to leading, it's the leaders that are going to help lead the way. So that's who we want to identify. So as we come through here, it looks like our leaders are. We have Century. Let's take a look. Oh, look at that candle here. So we have a nice little bullish continuation pattern. We have some supply, but if we look at the volume on the supply, not quite as much. And on this little retest here, there wasn't a lot of sellers there. So we actually had a little bull flag, a continuation pattern, and what we're breaking out of, and now we're testing highs. Very interesting. MACD's blowing up. We're seeing an improvement here in the RSI. So CCS looks interesting. Let's go to Beazer Homes, the second one on here. We can see actually there's a bull flag here. They're breaking out. They found some support here on the 20-day simple moving average. The 20, the 50, the 100, and the 200 are all rising. Nice bullish trend. We broke out of this flag pattern here with increased ease on expanding volume, positive chalk and money flow. The momentum, although it was slowing here, we're in a consolidation. We are showing signs that it's going to have curl up, and the RSI is breaking out there. So interesting. That's how I use the relative rotational graph, drill down the sectors and look for the sector summary to find some actual trades there. And again, the reason I'm looking at XLY is because it's lagging. It's showing some improving momentum. And if it's going to transition from lagging to improving to leading, it's generally going to be the leaders that help get it there first. So those are some ideas. I hope you found that helpful. Good luck, traders.